Hey, welcome. In a world that just never ever stops talking, we're going to dive into something that's so often overlooked, but is actually incredibly powerful: the art of deliberate silence. We usually think power is all about having a loud voice, right? About getting the last word in. But what if real strength, what if true influence actually lies in what we choose not to say? That's the counterintuitive idea at the very heart of what we're exploring today. All right, so let's start by just taking a look at the world we're all living in. I mean, just think about it for a second. You've got social media, 24-hour news, endless notifications. We are literally surrounded by noise. In this kind of environment, talking is constant, but really, truly listening, that's become a rare skill. And silence? Well, silence is often just seen as an awkward, empty space that we have to fill, when the reality is, it holds immense power. So, before we can really appreciate silence, we first have to get a handle on the profound weight our words actually carry. It's honestly incredible how fast things can just fall apart. A single moment of anger can absolutely destroy a relationship that took years, maybe decades, to build. One careless, thoughtless comment can create a wound that never really heals. But now, contrast that with the alternative: a quiet pause. That one little moment of holding back can be the difference between connection and total devastation. And this brings us to a really crucial shift in thinking. We have to stop seeing silence as just an absence of something and start seeing it for what it truly is: a source of deep, profound wisdom. We basically need to flip the script on this one. Society might tell you that being silent is a sign of weakness, like you have nothing to say. But the truth? Silence is wisdom. It's not emptiness, it's a form of protection. And it's not about avoiding a tough situation, it's about mastering it. And this idea, well, it's rooted in some powerful spiritual wisdom. The guidance here is crystal clear. Whoever believes in Allah and the last day should speak good or remain silent. Think about that. It's not just a nice suggestion, it's a core principle of faith, acting like a powerful filter for everything we say. So, what does this actually look like day to day? Well, it's having the wisdom to realize that winning an argument might actually cost you a friendship. It's the self-control to just let an insult go, to preserve your own dignity instead of firing back. And it's the discernment to know that sometimes, even if you're right, saying that truth in that specific moment might do way more harm than good. Okay, so if silence is a form of protection, how do we actually use it? Let's break down 3 critical situations where silence becomes your shield. First, when you feel that anger rising up, silence protects your inner peace. When you get pulled into gossip, staying silent protects your soul from that heavy burden of slander. And in times of what's called fitna, those messy periods of trial, temptation, or conflict, silence protects your standing in the akhirah, the hereafter, by keeping you from just adding more fuel to the fire. And maybe the most powerful example of this comes from the story of Miriam, the mother of Jesus, peace be upon them both. When she was accused and tested by her whole community, she didn't get into a big argument. She didn't try to defend herself with words. Instead, her response was an act of worship. She said, "I have vowed a fast of silence for the most merciful." And in that moment, her silence was deafening. She placed her complete and total trust in God to be her defender. Her refusal to engage became the most powerful testimony to her faith and her innocence. It showed a level of conviction that no verbal argument ever could. So this all boils down to one fundamental question we have to ask ourselves every single time we're about to open our mouths. What's our real motivation here? Who are we really speaking for? Because, you see, the ultimate goal here isn't just to be quiet for the sake of being quiet. It's to reach a level of mastery over when, why, and how we use our voice. So often, we speak because we're just craving validation from other people, right? We want them to understand us, to agree with us, to see things from our point of view. But this perspective right here, it completely changes the game. The true goal isn't to be understood by people. It's to act and speak in a way that is understood by God. And that's true whether people get your silence or not. This is exactly why silence isn't passive. It's an active state of deep, intentional listening. When you stop talking, you actually create the space to truly hear what another person is saying. You create the stillness to listen to your own conscience, to your own heart. And most importantly, you create the quiet you need to connect with your Lord. And this kicks off this really beautiful cycle. The more you truly listen, the wiser you become. And as your wisdom grows, you start to realize that fewer and fewer situations actually need your input. Your words become more measured, they become more impactful, and honestly, less frequent. So, if you need a simple rule of thumb to carry with you, this is it. Before you speak, ask yourself, will my words actually benefit the situation? If the answer is no, then ask a follow-up. Can my silence protect something? Can it protect someone's dignity, a relationship, or even just my own peace? This simple check can guide you in almost any situation. And making that conscious choice over and over again to weigh your words and choose silence when it's the right call, that isn't cowardice. That is the very definition of self-mastery. It's one of the highest forms of discipline you can possibly develop.
So the next time you feel that urge to fill a quiet moment, or you're dying to win an argument, just pause. Remember the incredible strength that lies in restraint. Because in a world that is practically drowning in noise, sometimes the most powerful, the most profound statement you can make is to say nothing at all.